Rock shop.
Father Charles Wright opens the door to a small workshop tucked away in the back of the monastery grounds. He's not had much time in the last few decades to pursue his hobby.
This is petrified wood. Can you see the grain in that?
He used to love making things with agate, stones and fossils, and he hopes he'll find more time to be creative again after he resigns as abbot in July. Father Charles took his vows at the Prince of Peace Abbey 51 years ago and was elected abbot 30 years later in 1994.
I never asked for this job, you see. In fact, when I came to the monastery in 1961, I never asked or expected to go on to the priesthood.
But as it turned out, the priesthood became his life.
Because I had tried so many things out. I worked in Los Angeles for 3 years in the commercial field. I was in the Army for 2, and I was at San Diego State for 4. So I said, I've tried a lot of things out, so I said, I don't think I'd be any happier anyplace else, you see, so this is it.
Benedictine monks take vows not of poverty, chastity, and obedience, but of stability, fidelity, and obedience. They commit themselves for life. So he's not leaving the monastery when he resigns. What's it going to be like for you to be living here but with somebody else as the abbot?
I don't know. You see, we've gone over 50 years with having only one change of leadership, and that's very uncommon.
The first and only other abbot, Father Charles Erringer, was elected in 1983, though building the abbey began in the late 1950s. Now, the Prince of Peace Abbey is a sanctuary of quiet in the hills above Oceanside. All but the monks' cloisters is open to the public. But Father Charles says the future is uncertain.
The future of most monasteries is dubious at present. It's the expansion that took place in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And they were just expanded all over, especially in the United States. And now they're contracting.
Father Charles says it's harder to find men willing to commit themselves for life. And yet the Abbey's 33 retreat rooms are booked for weekend retreats years in advance. Father Charles says about 40% of those who choose to spend time on retreat here are not Catholic.
Now there's the first, that's the Abbey Church for 30 years before we built the other one.
The monastery church has a good turnout even on a weekday morning. Father Charles says the beauty and otherworldliness of the Gregorian chants was one of the things that first attracted him to the monastic life.
This is what a little response that we sing at Easter time now. Surrexit Dominus de sepulchro, Alleluia, Alleluia.
He was also attracted to the simple life. The community still makes its own robes, has an orchard and a vineyard, and keeps bees. Life now is more complex, and Father Charles is thinking about the future. On the hillside above the Abbey, workmen are pouring concrete to erect solar panels that will power the whole community. And one of the monks is designing a new drought-tolerant garden for the central courtyard.
I think Benedictine monasticism has a future. But the future will be different because there will always be people who will be drawn to the contemplative. No matter how active life is, or how active they are in life, they're always seeking some type of depth.
Father Charles will resign as the abbot on his 80th birthday, July 8th. The monks will hold an election for a new abbot in August. Alison St. John, KPBS News.